so the session will not be interrupted. So today, thank you so much for spending your time to come with us today with AFS to this seminar, Blue Ocean Strategies, organized by AFS and Blue Ocean Global Network. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Mai In Hua. You can call me Mai. Everyone here call me Mai. Alright. And I am the founder of AFS. And I would like to share with you a little bit why AFS involved with Blue Ocean Strategy. So first of all, Blue Ocean Strategies written by the two world-renowned authors, Professor Chan Yin and René Maubourg. Right? For the first Blue Ocean book, they actually stirred the world with 100 plus international bestsellers for 3.5 million copies. And until now, it has been translated into 44 different languages and being taught in over 2,800 universities around the world. Right? And after 1 decade of extensive research, right, they come up with a new book just last year. We call it Blue Ocean Shift. Right? And this Blue Ocean Shift that actually to show you the way how to move from a great ocean with crowded competition to the blue ocean with uncontested outer space and explosive growth. Right, so this is what we are coming for today. And by seeing the benefit of Blue Ocean Shift, that's why AFS, right, with the vision to be the leader in business strategy consultancy service in Vietnam, we would like to introduce this concept, Blue Ocean Strategy, to Vietnam market. And we are very honored to be appointed as the official reseller of Blue Ocean Academy in Vietnam market today. And so far, at this moment, we are the only one. Right? We are the only one. And yeah, so yes, because the owner of the license is here. And we going to introduce very first product. We call it Blue Ocean Bootcamp. And this is a very, very first product designed by the Blue Ocean Academy for only Southeast Asian market at this moment. So at this moment in the world, this program only running in Malaysia and now Vietnam. So this bootcamp, I will share with you the information later on. But this program is designed for the people to kickstart with their Blue Ocean journey, right? It will show you, it will enlighten you, it will kickstart with you how to create a new ideas to solve your existing problem, or to redefine your existing problem and solve it in a different way, or to identify the brand new problem and see a new opportunities, right? So that is our bootcamp is all about. So that's why come to the objective of this seminar. I invite Dr. Robert Ball, right? He is the expert in Blue Ocean Strategy. He will come here to share with you, to make you understand what is Blue Ocean Strategy is all about, what is Blue Ocean Shift, right? And how Blue Ocean can help you in your business strategy. So now, with no further ado, I would like to pass the stage to you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Everybody can see, right? I do not have a mic, so I have to come to you and go away from you, come to you, people away from you. So anytime you want to ask questions, please just ask me. But I was told by mind that I have to finish fast because all of you are very hungry. So let me let me be very fast. The whole idea is that in the next maybe 45 to 1 hour, I will attempt to make you understand what is the concept of market competing versus market creating, and why is it very important for every one of us today. Now, to start with, a little bit, she insisted, but just a little bit about myself. Actually, I'm the chief designer for the two professors. When the two professors writes the book and teach in the university, I make them into commercializable program that can train you in 75 years. So in that regard, I created a company and academy for and on behalf of two professors, Professor Chan Kim, Professor Mabon. I myself, I have a 40 plus years of industry background. I used to work in the industry. I was an ex-CEO for two listed companies. Then I ran two universities, one in Malaysia, one in university. Today I'm unemployed, here talking to you, basically, okay? So I already retired basically, but I like to do this. I like to share with you this. Quickly start with this one first. This is a cover story of Fortune 500, July 1956. The first very copy, the first one. Okay, when they listed 500 companies in this copy here, today, okay, only 12% of them existed in the world. The rest of them all perished. In other words, 88% perished. If you take today you don't have to see the cover anymore. You come here, you go to the website, look fortune.com. Right? You're going to go fortune.com and look at it. You check with all the various agencies, all the research houses. They will tell you that of the last 20 years, okay, most of the big companies listed in this Fortune 500 today, they didn't exist if you go back 15 years or 20 years ago. And you look at the company today, for minimum 40, likely 50% of the company will not survive in the next 10 years. In other words, they not only will drop out from a Fortune 500, they will perish from this world. That's what it is. If you read around, that's what the situation. So have an idea why it is so, but I'm not interested in a particular company per se. I'm more interested in the industry, where the companies come from. If you look at this chart here, okay, you don't have to worry about the detail. I just want to show you that you look at all the industry. In other words, it says that a lot of these companies that are, which belong to this industry, a lot of this industry never even existed before. That's the idea. Industry never existed before. 10 years, 15 years, industry today existed. Industry today will not survive maybe 10 years from now. So this is the business world that we are living in today. So this is what the key message. The question is, every business having understood the challenges in the outside world, what is your business strategic orientation? What do you mean by strategic orientation? In other words, you are more towards competing or you are more towards creating. I'm not saying competing is better than creating, creating is better than competing. Every single business must know how to compete. Because if you don't compete, people eat your lunch. But is competing alone good enough? Most of us go to business school. We study MBA. We come out with number one competing. Competing is important because it raises your level of competence, it raises your level of excellence. But is competing itself good enough? I want to share with you later on. But then you say market creating. This terminology has been used by many people, but exactly what do you mean by market creating? It's easy to say, oh, market creating, market competing. So let's start with understanding what is market competing, what is market creating first. Okay? Now, let's start with Coca-Cola. Okay? Coca-Cola strategic orientation of Coca-Cola is absolutely competing. Coca-Cola came about through the formula called merchandise 7X. You know, this is the one top secrets, and they compete with. Coca-Cola initially was created as a medication. So were Pepsi Cola. The Pepsi Cola, the creator was actually a pharmacist for digestion, to aid indigestions. Both of them actually a medication for different things. But then they became drinks. So they're very competitive all these years. They're very competitive. If you look at Coca-Cola, okay, Coca-Cola came out way before Star Wars. They are very competitive. I want to cut the story short. I want to go straight to the point that how Pepsi and Cola competed with one another. This is 1974. Look at the ladies' design of 1974, like my era, not your era. Okay? 1974, hippies time in Atlanta. So Pepsi always challenged Coca-Cola. This is called the blind challenge, Pepsi challenge. So Pepsi Cola will go around and ask people to drink blindly. Coca-Cola and Pepsi Cola. Most of the time, people choose Pepsi. Do you know why people choose Pepsi? Because it's what? Sweeter. Pepsi Cola is actually formula to be sweeter. So naturally body will choose Pepsi. So Coca-Cola was damn fed up. What is this, man? So Coca-Cola tried to win back the challenge, couldn't win. So after 10 years later, Coca-Cola said, bite the bullet, we will compete with Pepsi. We will launch something sweeter than the existing one. So we launched New Coke. Now New Coke is the biggest mistake in history for Coca-Cola. When they launched New Coke, there were protests from everybody. Within months, they withdrew from the market and relaunched the original Coke and called it Classic. So those of you who were not born then will not know the story. So the story is that there was a Coca-Cola, then came the New Coke, then went away the New Coke, then came the Classic. Why? Because Coca-Cola was so damn head-on competing with Pepsi Cola, and that was the mistake they made. However, do you know that something that quite interesting happened? Actually, Coca-Cola actually went against the market. They said everybody wanted something sweeter. Why don't we get into with somebody with Diet Coke, no? Who didn't want sweet at all? So when they wanted to go there, it was so against their DNA of the organization. The organization actually didn't want to launch it, but with somebody very persistent, they launched it. When they launched it, was one of the most successful marketing programs. So what is the lesson here? The lesson is that competing is very important for survival. Okay? But sometimes just competing, you can make a lot of mistakes. But if you choose not to compete, you must have the courage and the vision, choose not to compete. You will find that you draw in a huge group of non-customer or that new customer. We call it non-customer or quite a new customer. People who never actually drank soda drink before because of the sweetness. Now drank it because of its diet. So what is the lesson here we learn? Think about it. Now, however, as the two colas were happening to compete with one another, they actually, you know, the CEO of Coca-Cola and Pepsi Cola, if they lost the market share by 1% point consecutively for 3 quarters, they can sack. That's how serious it was, you know. The VP can sack one. But you see, when they are so competing with one another, they miss out the whole big world. People actually, they have a bottled water came about, fruit juice came about, flavored drink came about. So this big group of market is growing leaps and bounds versus the Coca-Cola. So when you are very competing, yes, you're competing very strongly, but are you missing out a bigger market growing outside? No? That's the story about it. Now, after the lesson learned, now Pepsi say, if Americans want to drink tap water, I want to be Pepsi tap water. To that extent, they now learn that we cannot be just competing. We now have a holistic view, look at other things. We must be aware of new market opportunities. Now, therefore, it's very important we ask a question. I always ask these questions when I was a group CEO. I have a lot of businesses. There are a lot of CEO came to me during an operational review. They say, "Wow, we are growing fast. We are growing market share. We grew a lot last quarter." My first question is that, did you grow faster than the market? If you didn't grow faster than the market, whatever market growth you tell me that we have growth is no use. And more importantly, if you tell me you are a market leader, is your market collapsing or shrinking? If you are a market leader, you fought so hard to become a market leader and your whole industry is collapsing and shrinking, why are you still staying there? Something is not correct, right? So this is a question we always ask. Now, the next question is that while is competing is very important, it's good to compete. You must know how to compete. But competing also have a distraction called industry disruption. No, disruption is a misnomer. Actually, disruption, they use the word for business is a misnomer. Disruption is a terminology created by economists. Economists has a long-range view about horizon. Now, economists look at trend about 30 years, 100 years, 150 years. Anything happen is called disruption. But disruption to us is actually, in a business, disruption should be like revolution. It's not evolution. But this is a wrong term. I explain to you why. This is a frog in the boiling water. When the frog has ability to adjust their temperature to the ambient temperature. So you put a frog in the boiling water, they will not jump out. You slowly boil the frog will boil to be boiled to death inside the water. That is what is happening in business. So a lot of businesses, when they actually stay in the industry, they actually know the industry is dying, but they do not get out of it. For example, Kodak. You know how Kodak died, right? Kodak is one of the major successful companies. Why it died? It died because Kodak was fighting with Fujifilm. The two of them dominated the world film market and they're highly profitable. Even though they knew something was wrong, they competed with one another, trying to kill Fujifilm. Fujifilm tried to kill Kodak, but the whole world actually went the other direction to the digital camera. So when digital camera came about, Kodak died. Kodak became chapter 11, finished. I just came back from US. I was doing this restructuring exercise of Fujifilm now. They have a different challenge now. Even though they survived this episode, but they are not surviving this time. Now, the sad thing about this is this. You know who invented digital camera? Kodak. Kodak invented digital camera in 1975. For God's sake, if they didn't use it. This is the reason that you compete so intensely and you don't understand market disruption. You are a frog in the boiling water. Of course, now camera is killing digital. Mobile phone is killing digital camera. All right. I just came back from China. I was in China, working with the largest F&B group over there. They have a few hundred outlets in China as well in Southeast Asia. So they will ask me, tell me what is the food and industry disruption? Food industry cannot be disrupted because human beings just need to eat. I said, really? So people just say, I just need to make sure my chef come up with better quality food. Every 3 months, every season we refresh the menu. Because people need to eat. I say, okay, that's very interesting. Let's look at what is the disruption. So we discussed it. People now want to eat less. People want to eat healthy. People want to eat fast, but not fast food. They want fast food, healthy food. Food safety is important. People care about what the food is, whether it's organic or genetically modified food. People are ethical. They want to drink coffee. They want to see that whether you have child exploitation to harvest the coconuts. They want to know the source of the food. Of course, they want to make sure that you don't eat shark fin. They want sustainability of the environment. People change. Okay? All these things change. Not only that. See, this is not prayer. It looks like prayer before meal. It is actually taking picture. So I asked them, say, do you know what it means? So the group told me, wow, we have a lot of above the line, below the line marketing campaign to get our restaurant known, get our menu out. I said, these days, when the parents bring the children to the restaurant to eat, before they eat, they take picture So when they take picture, who they send to? They send to their friend. And goes to their friend, my parents brought me to this restaurant to eat here and the good food here. These friends here will then pester the parents to go to the same place to work. I think this is the one of the most effective marketing. Are you tapping it or not? Say, what? That's a problem. Do you know that today Instagram and all the social media photograph, 2/3 of them are food taken at the table by the consumer, sharing with one another with pride. And this restaurant F&B company had no clue about what they could tap. Now, see, this is how it is. Now, even McDonald's has a different way of ordering now. The ordering of food can be done in advance. So, eating is not. So I told them, I said, you only worry about the restaurant. People come into your restaurant, you care about restaurant here. You make sure people don't walk to the next restaurant. You come to the restaurant, you think your sales happen within the restaurant. Actually, it's before they come to your restaurant. And also after they have left your restaurant. So things like that. See, before you come, the people come. This one. So you look at China, look at China on social media here. All these things transform Chinese people today, how they go to restaurant. So I gave them an example. After I explained to them, I could explain them. I said, okay, let's look at this example. This is Donald Trump, right? I said, how did Donald Trump win the presidency? He said, it's not a fluke. They said, it's a fluke. I said, are you sure? I said, did you notice that Donald Trump behaved so inconsistent in his speeches during the campaign time? And each time he became inconsistent, his popularity went up. He said, why? I said, because Donald Trump understands big data analytics, psychographic profiling, and targeted content. Donald Trump actually knew exactly what they wanted to hear. They have this capability. They said what they wanted to hear. His popularity went up. But if you are not aware of what he was doing, you think that this guy was so inconsistent. My God, who will vote for you? And he became president. Actually, Obama started this capability. Obama claimed that he knew 69 million out of 220 voters in the US. But Donald Trump with his son-in-law, right? They actually master the data for 200 out of 220 voters. That's why he won. That's why now he refused to talk to the press because he controlled one-to-many direct communication. Now, can you imagine that I say that? But I say that if you put on the locations capability here, I say, you know what, it happens to you as a business. I said, presidential election in US, only have to worry about them making decision between the Democrat and the Republican once every 5 years and vote between 2 person and one person. I said, your customer actually have to eat 3 meals a day. They have to vote what they want to eat, where they want to eat. Every day, 3 times a day. Now, if you understand how to master this particular big data, psychographic profiling and content, I said, how can, you can completely change the way you command, lure, and grow your customer base. Think about that. I say, okay, it's not that I like Donald Trump. He so happened to be always in my example because it's relevant. So the next question I asked him, I said, well, what is the most important thing about your restaurant business? Well, he talked about everything. I said, how can your restaurant serve the food? I said, it has one great dependency, it's called the real estate. Real estate. Restaurant cannot exist without a place, right? Or else it will be called the delivery or catering. So, McDonald's, their ability to succeed is because they have a very strong core competence in real estate management. They survey, they pick the right location. They went to the right location. So a lot of people thought that McDonald's success is due to the fact that they are very good in flipping the patty or the hamburger and do it systematically. Actually, it's not. The real success came from the ability to choose real estate. So your business in restaurant, you need to look across the industry and understand the real estate industry, how it developed in China. So I picked this one because in China, the real estate industry is making such a different phenomenon. This is a Mexican wall. This is a Mexican wall. Donald Trump supposed to build but cannot finance. Want to build but cannot finance. So this Chinese guy said, we could 3D print the Trump's wall for him. Chinese can do it. He said it last year in May. Because in China, the real estate and property development scenario has changed dramatically beyond your imagination. He is Ma Yihe. Ma Yihe, this is a house, he can print 10 of them in 24 hours. Now, therefore, what does that mean? I say, when you are in the business, you must always be able to look across your industry, your adjacent industry, your complementary industry, how they affect you, which is important. If you are too competitive or against a competitor, like the restaurant business, they only worry about catching this customer, walking towards them and not towards their next door restaurant, you are in trouble. Look at this guy. Okay, this guy from Chairman of Broadcom. You think that was fantastic? Look at that. BBC, not for me. 19 days to build 57 story. Okay, now I don't have time to show you this. Okay, now I want to talk about. Now, I have shown you what it means by competing. I also shown you what it means by only focus on competing. I also show you the danger of just focusing on competing, disregarding disruption. I also show you the importance of only focusing on competing in your industry and not looking across your adjacent industry, which will have tremendous implication and effect on your core industry. Now you understand what it means by market competing, and it is good to be, it's important to be good at market competing, but it's also important to look at market creating. Now switch here, market creating. Okay? Look at strategic orientation of Apple. I choose Apple not because I like Apple. Apple example sometimes is so dated already, no? This Steve Jobs even died. No, I chose it because last week, okay, Xiaomi, he called himself the Steve Jobs of China. Yeah, he couldn't just say he wore even the same. He wore and his company went IPO last week in Hong Kong Stock Exchange. And he get for $100 billion valuation. That was his target. Now, what's the difference between Xiaomi and Steve Jobs? That's where I draw the example of market creating. Of course, he actually said this. He said, X phone will be 2 doors away. Okay, let's understand Apple. Okay? Now, Apple, I want to say very quickly. When Apple came out with this iPod and iTunes, Apple didn't compete with Creative Technology nor Sony Walkman. They actually made a deal with the record label. They actually catered to a new group of people who for the first time would buy one title at a time for 99 cents and store it and reshuffle it and become a DJ of their own. So this group of song listener formed their major customer, which he didn't steal and didn't compete with Creative Technology, which was then the best device, and Sony, which was the mother of music on the move. They didn't compete with them. But their sales in the iTunes after 3 years is more than the world offline sales combined. Apple came out with the iPhone and the App Store. When Apple came out with iPhone, that time the world was 3G. Nokia and BlackBerry were the leaders, right? But a lot of people laugh at iPhone. They say, how can you, what kind of company you are? You're never in the telecom industry. How can you compete with us? And the world was competing based on the keypad, BlackBerry keypad. Even the President Obama refused to let go of the BlackBerry began the president. So the world was going to sophisticated device, catering for senior executive all the way to President of the United States of America. But when Apple came out with this iPhone, he didn't come out with any special technology. Maybe the latest technology is a touch screen. Everything one is existing technology, just wrap it together as a box. But, okay, they gave a new experience. They didn't target the senior executive. Combined with the App Store, they targeted for the young people and the women. So when Apple was launched, iPhone was launched, US AT&T network crashed. Because that was the first time in the history of humankind. People talk on mobile phone, not voice, data. So in the past, we used to see people talk on phone like that. Okay, maybe in Vietnam, we see a lot of people like that. But these days, people use mobile phone this way. The voice, the data communication became the main form of communication between human beings. That's how they revolutionized it. So they created a new customer for themselves. They didn't compete with the senior executive who used Nokia and BlackBerry. They created a new category for the young people and women. Same thing, iPad. When iPad was designed, without the launch, everybody thought iPad was going to be competing with laptop and netbook, right? Laptop and netbook, that's what it is. However, it was not meant for laptop and netbook. It was meant for a new way of reading magazine, periodical, or all other material, online material. So ever since iPad came about, the way in which we read, purchase, store, share reading material online, totally new experience. So it was not meant to compete with a laptop. So iPad opened up a new category of customer today. It's still growing, called the tablet industry. Created a new category. So what does that mean? It means that Apple always never based on technology. They always based on this. They say that. Steve Jobs said that he always want to create something that people do not know they want, but they created they will want it because he is not referring, he doesn't do customer survey before he start. In fact, he throw the customer survey book out. He always say, if you ask your existing customer survey, what answer will they give you? Only 3. I want it cheaper, I want it better, I want it faster. That is what it is. So this is how it is. So when you are creating market, you look at things differently. The creating of the market has got a lot of benefit because the market you created, you own the market category for some time. Okay, market creation is not marketing strategy. Marketing strategy can be copied easily. Market creation means you created a totally new market. It is very difficult for BlackBerry and Nokia to copy you because they have been doing business that way. That's a business model, that's a product structure. Even though Apple was selling like a hotcake in front of them, they couldn't move. That's why they commanded that. You look at that, 9% sale, 75% profit. Next year, 8%, 9% sale, 73% profit. Again, no change. I just checked recently, Apple grabbed 86% of global smartphone profit. iPhone 10 itself got 35%. Consistently. It's quite interesting, right? You say, why did competitor follow them? When you create a market, you own the DNA and the market and the structure of the market. You own the new customer base. Very hard to come in. It's not a marketing strategy. It's a market transformation. It talks about utility. The utility is totally different. Now, we have done 108 new business launch. We look at that. Blue ocean means market creation. Red ocean means market competition. You compete, you bleed. Okay? If you don't compete, you have blue ocean. If you launch new business, 40% blue ocean, revenue 38, 61%. So it's consistent. Consistent across all different industries, not just Apple. So what does it mean now? It means that when you create market, you need to always go after non-customer. Like the young people and the women of the iPhone. Okay? You must always have value innovation, not technology innovation. Apple never come up with something that is number one in technology. Samsung did. Okay? Or Samsung still does. And value innovations is to say that how can you create exceptional value at a lower cost? Because to give latest bleeding edge technology a lot of R&D, your cost structure is very high. So Apple didn't do that. Many people didn't do that. And after that, you create a new market category, you own it. People can look at you, but they cannot enter. It's like possessed by the spirit outside of your market category. They just cannot enter. No, in Chinese they say they have to woo, then they cannot come in. You understand? That's how it works. Now come back Xiaomi. Yeah, I look at Xiaomi. I went to read the book. I say Xiaomi. I say you say that you're Steve Jobs of China. Okay, I say Li Zhen, 让我看一看，研究研究. I read his book. Okay, this is an IPO book. Okay, then this is his strategy. His strategy is very different. He said that his strategy considered Costco. You know Costco in US, the supermarket? Yeah? They are known for very low price. They have a few items low price, very low price. They lure the people come into the store. Then after that, as they walk towards the store, then everything is more and more expensive. That's how it works. So yeah, I go after first timer who use smartphone. I lower the price so low that I even pledge that my margin for smartphone is nothing more than 10%. And then I introduce them services. These services then will be able to use a lot of consumer gadgets like fan, like toaster, or the house, or wearable, all kind of consumer wearable. Then at the end of the day, I want to connect the Internet of Things. That was his storyline. But okay, if you look at it, every handset Xiaomi sold $2. Apple $250, Samsung $19. Why? Because Apple owned the market. Okay? Samsung challenged the market. Xiaomi came out new strategy. Somewhere around here. Now, unfortunately, this one just came out. The IPO has gone processed. They cannot get $100 million US valuation. The most they can get maybe is 65. So because the market didn't believe that it is a blue ocean. So what does that mean? It means that you cannot lower down your price to buy new customer. You need to create value to lure in new customer. So new customer don't come to you because you lower price. Because somebody else can lower the price lower. That's the problem. But if you create value that is unique to your value proposition, unique to your business model, price is irrelevant. And you get new customers. That's what it is. Now, that's why I say companies that create value. Okay? Diamond. Now you give me diamond, if say this diamond, I say it's 20,000 US dollar. To me, I look at diamond 20,000 US dollars, I pay $20,000 for the diamond. Okay, I got this diamond, I don't want to give the diamond to, I don't wear diamond. To me, it's no utility. To me, it's very expensive, no value. Right? To women, it's a different story. I'll come to that later. Now, I want to define what you mean by creating value. You have to create value to bring in new customer. You definitely cannot lower price to bring in new customer. So value is defined by utility that you receive over price. If the utility you receive seems like greater than price you pay, it's value. It's value. So it's very simple. So you notice, when you focus on value creation, price is always irrelevant. Because as long as your utility is greater than whatever price you like to charge, people will buy. Just like iPhone. When iPhone was first launched, it was more expensive than BlackBerry. BlackBerry was really the top of the line, most expensive, only for senior executive only. But how could you imagine that young people and women can fork out that much of money to buy a phone that is not latest in technology? It was then 2G some more when the market was 3G. It becomes a tremendous amount of value. The value was given to them, that price was irrelevant. Now, let's ask the question, what is utility then, right? You say, okay, the value is about utility. Okay, what is utility? Of course, utility, we live with utility every day. Right? These are the utilities. If somebody can give you something, make you more productive, make things more simple for you, make it all more convenient, remove all the risks you have, give you the fun, give you the image, and make sure that you align with your what you call your value in life. Image here. If I were a woman, okay, I receive a diamond, I can enhance my image. Even 25,000, I think it's cheap. Okay? That is the difference between value and price. Okay? Now, look at this company. This kind of company, they create a lot. When companies like that create values, their customer, non-customer come to them, their valuations show up a lot. You see, look at, they create this China literature, they can easily get 1 billion IPO because they created value. Now look at this, the WeChat. Look at that. Look at their valuation. $500 billion. Because people, the market, understand they're creating value. They didn't lower the price to get new customer. Oh, what happened? Have you seen this one? Wow, this one create a lot of value. It's so addictive. Look at the value. Look so very, it's value of 20 billion. Why? Because they can attract 70 million people to 120 people, and they spend 74 minutes per day, you know, using their apps. You know how valuable this app is. Okay, I won't go into detail what it is. I just give you an example. Do you know these three persons? Nathan, Joe, and Brian? Sorry? Airbnb. They created tremendous value without single asset. Their capital of 30,000 came from selling Obama cereal, you know, during the campaign. For God's sake, no. These people, look at that, they created the value, so valuable. Now, today, they rank just below Marriott's. Marriott's have been around forever. This is called value creation. And once they created the value attracts not only non-customer, value attracts supplier, ecosystem, stakeholder, so much so that it creates a network effect. This network effect is so big that nobody can penetrate anymore. Okay, we all know taxi, right? Every country we have taxi. Taxi is always a pain, but we need taxi, right? But taxi give you the utility of bringing you from point A to point B. But the price you pay the taxi, the utility they give it to you, plus the scolding they scold you, okay, you find that it's very expensive. That's the reason why Uber and all this came out. Actually, Uber, this is more expensive than taxi sometimes. They have surge pricing. But they don't scold you. They come to you nicely when you need them. Taxi different. Taxi, when it rain, they also hide because they know that you need them. So they hide, they come out late, things like that. You know, sometimes they have midnight charge, you know. They can charge you midnight charge. 11:30 in the night, you have no taxi. Then 5 seconds before midnight, all came out like cockroaches like that. So they play this game with you. So now the utility, when you pay the price, you didn't feel nice. That's why even these people are more expensive, they can give you the value. So that's the definition of value. It's like GD is instead. Okay, let's look at the startups. Value sometimes is not in the product itself. Sometimes you think value is the product itself. No, sometimes the value is across the whole experience of using the product. Like Starbucks. This is Starbucks. You know, Starbucks in China is growing leaps and bounds. China is a tea drinking society. How come the Starbucks can grow so much? How come? I always ask the question. How can you convince a tea? In China there are a lot of tea houses. They will sit there a whole day drinking tea. Wow, all the things and all the poems will come out. All this thing, right? How can it? Then I realized that China, this is not from me. This is an article. In China, Starbucks doesn't sell coffee to make millions. It's very conscious. Because people like to go there to experience Starbucks environment, to see and to be seen. When I lived in China, I was teaching in China. When I was bored, sometimes with nothing to do, I went to Starbucks there. There are a lot of very nice, educated young ladies. They like to chat with people. We just sit down and just can have a casual discussion, just like that. So the coffee they purchase is actually the brand they pay for the couch, basically. Now, therefore, Starbucks called himself that. Okay? Starbucks is third place between home and office and home. So Starbucks understands the value of experience. So even India. Okay, now the question is, I have explained to you market competing, I explained to you market creating. Market creating come about because you know how to create the value and you lure non-customer in. The value must be created not by technology, but by simply the utility. Once you have the utility more than the price you pay on, you are there. Then you create a market model or new market category that you own, then you super profit for some time long before people can come in and imitate you, because it's not easy to imitate. Now, the question is that you ask yourself, are you always every day chasing revenue growth, market share? Are you always come up with strategy to differentiate, or you have low price strategy? Or are you looking for economy of scale? Because in order to have low price strategy, you need to have economy of scale, right? So you're always chasing after this. But are you also looking at market creation? You create market, but when you create market, you don't look at market share, market revenue growth. You look at innovation, value innovation, not technology innovation. I just described to you what value innovation is, right? You are doing differentiation and low cost. You see, low price and low cost. You know how Apple can come up with such high profit? Because their cost very low. Because they don't have a lot of R&D. They just took existing technology, accelerometer, they wrap them together, but they present exceptional utility. So when that happens, they can present differentiations and they have low cost. Low cost means they can still price high, as long as they price it below the utility, they can command the market, and then they have very high profit. Of course, they always go for network effect. Very different. This one, economy of scale, very inward looking, cost reduction mode. Economy of scale is value creation, value multiplying. Think about your orientation. What is your orientation? Okay, now. Mine? Stop now, right? What? I don't have license to continue. Now I have license. Let me explain to you how do you create closure through innovation, value innovation. Now, look at this case here. This personal transporter. Okay? Value innovation is not technology innovation. This came about, they say they want to make 1 billion, about 100 million developing this product. But only 30,000 units sold. The reason is that because where is the utility? The utility is not, let's ask you, where do you park? Where do you park this? Okay, you drive this to work, where do you park? Where do you charge the battery? So utility they was not thought of. This company very, very sad. Brilliant engineers created this gyroscope control transporter. Brilliant, right? Technology. But utility-wise, flop. where to charge, where to park. That's the utility. Link, where's Link? You talk about Blue Ocean is niche market, right? Okay. Is niche market Blue Ocean? That's where mass market. Down here, Colgate, right? Okay. Everybody uses Colgate. It's a bunch of teeth. We have sensitive teeth. You belong to the niche, right? You use Sensodyne. Niche market is only a market that was temporarily given to you by the market leaders to play. Because they choose not to play. Because Colgate, they want, you remember, economy of scale. When people in the red ocean, they compete based on economy. So when you have economy, so you want standardization. Standardization, you don't go for niche. So they temporarily let the niche market loose. For anyone who wants to enter, it's fine. But as long as you go and play the niche market and you not go and disturb the market leader, the moment you disturb the market leader, they have immediately they come and bang. They kill you. They compete with you. And niche market is not scalable. Just by virtue of the name niche, it's not scalable. Blue Ocean is scalable. Not only scalable, it's scaled with network effect. They mean size, again, size, produce utility and value, and more utility and value. Very different. Anything niche is good. Play with niche. Don't challenge the market leader. Once you challenge, then hit you on your head. And by the way, niche is not Blue Ocean. Okay? Now, let's look at this one. Okay? The question is, okay, then benchmarking. Is it right to do benchmarking? Nothing wrong. Benchmarking is a very good exercise for a red ocean practitioner. But benchmarking, you know what it means of benchmarking? Benchmarking means three things. Number one, means that you're not a market leader. Because you have to benchmark the market leader, right? You're not a market leader, so therefore you benchmark. So you admit you're not a market leader already, right? So you benchmark somebody else whom you believe is a market leader. Second, because you have no idea. You know better idea. So you benchmark against a market leader. Third, when you benchmark, you must pray. Why you must pray? Because you must pray that the market leader does not improve themselves, or you keep chasing them. That's called benchmarking. Yeah, that's called benchmarking. We do it every day, but have you thought about it that way? Basically, it's like that. Now, is benchmarking wrong? No, benchmarking is not wrong. You need to benchmark sometime, but when you want to create new market, you cannot benchmark. Now, take example, this one, okay? This is an Xbox, right? This is a game. This is a PlayStation, right? You know, I use this example because this is a very highly benchmarking exercise industry. You know why? The game industry is very simple that when they cater to the kids, right? No, kids learning capability is accelerating when they play game. You stimulate their mind. So when the kid play game, after a while they don't like it anymore because they want more challenging game. More challenging game means more software development, more cost to develop, very sophisticated, very real software, very real scenario. Very sophisticated software, millions and millions of lines of code needs very, very powerful hardware to drive them. So again, cost increases. So hardware go up, price go up. So more and more sophisticated, children play. When children play, they get very engrossed all the time. They neglect their parents and grandparents. So come back from school, they go straight to the room. So there is a social divide between the parents and the kids and the grandparents and the kids because of game. It's a major problem. Of course, the parent, the grandfather or grandmother cannot play this sort of thing, right? Now, there is one company who choose not to benchmark. It's Nintendo. When Nintendo came up with this, they said, no, I don't want to benchmark. I don't want to pay millions of dollars developing more sophisticated software, more powerful hardware. I actually reduce everything. I just put like Apple, take existing technology, slap them together, totally different experience. Motion experience. So their generation, we can play across them. Grandfather, grandmother can play together, can play with children, can play with grandchildren can play. It become a family affair. Not only it becomes cheaper to produce, cheaper to buy, it also solves a social problem. So it became hugely successful. Okay, I have another example to show you, but I want to just this time, so let's skip this. Okay. So now they cross from game into reality, become education. The idea is what? The idea is that niche is good only if you admit you're not market leader and you have no idea, and you pray that the market leader do not improve themselves so you can keep management and catch up with them. But it's not bad if you choose not to create market. And also niche is dangerous because the niche market is dangerous because the market leader allow you to be temporary. So this I explained to you. So benchmarking is also okay, but you just need to know that like Nintendo, they didn't benchmark. They have the courage to go the other way and it became hugely successful. Okay, now I'm going to sum up by saying that why is it so simple an idea I shared with you in the last 45 minutes? Nobody actually did it because we all went to MBA school. MBA taught us how to compete, and management program taught us how to be organized. When you are organized and you know how to compete, it's very hard to create because we have mental block there. So the question is that Blue Ocean's shift or Blue Ocean strategy is a concept with tools and methodology that can take you step by step. There are 5 steps to it with all the tools to look across boundary and reconstruct the boundary to unlock exceptional utility. Remember I talked about utility? If you can unlock exceptional utility, you have exceptional value. When you have exceptional value, price is irrelevant as long as you price it below it. And when that happens, you can capture non-customer, new customer. When you capture non-customer, new customer, competitor hard to come in because you own the market. You have a new model of the market. Then you enjoy super profit level for some time before a competitor can finally shake their DNA and then come into your market. Basically, it's like that. So, we always let structure shape our strategy. Very simple. Now, every time you go do a strategic planning retreat, right? Those of you management guru, you go ask any management guru, you go to a strategic plan. How does strategic plan begin? You analyze the marketplace, existing marketplace. Then you decide how to segment the market. And you decide what is addressable, what is not addressable. Then you see who are the key players and how they position themselves. Then you do the SWOT analysis. All these things after that, you come up with 3 conclusions. You either play a differentiation strategy, premium price, you do a low price strategy for mass market, or you play the niche market. The niche market. Okay? Now, that's how we were trained. Nothing wrong with that. Perfectly alright. And you may even win to become a market leader. But that's only half of the story of a business. The other half of the story of business is market creating. Market creating, you need to switch them around. Because you created a new market, your strategy create a new category of marketplace. This category of marketplace actually prevent competitors from coming in, and you secure the value proposition all by yourself to your customer and new customer. This is what it is. Okay, I want to share with you an idea that somebody came to us when I was in Malaysia. How do you shift your perspective? In Malaysia, there were a lot of petty crime. People, you ride on a motorbike, in front, behind, you see women, then they go on the street like Jalan Bukit Bintang, they snatch your gold chain or snatch your bag. Then you cry, right? Especially if you're tourists. So a lot of them, so the government caught them because of outcry from the tourists and the people. So the government caught a lot of them. The petty crimes prisoners, and they have a problem. They don't know where to house them. They needed 6 new prisons. One prison is about $30 million and take about 2 to 3 years to build. So they went to the parliament to ask for approval of the budget. So then they came to us. Said, do you have any idea? So we look at the problem and say, okay, Why do you go to parliament? Oh, that's the way it is. This is a parliamentary process, this is a government process. Oh, I said, very good. So we look at it, I said, fine. I said, why don't we do it this way? I said, look at your military camp. I said, if you look at your military camp since the Second World War, there was no business for the military. I said that military got their camp, big camp, it's very secure, prevent people from coming in, right? But at the same time, military got a big ground everywhere in Malaysia. It need about 40,000 people to maintain the ground. These 40,000 of people, they are Second World War, post-Second World War generation. They are all old already. Their children all don't want to maintain military camp anymore. So they are problem. So what do I do that? I said that instead of putting the prisoners into the hardcore prison and spend more money, more time, and you're just sending them to MBA school of prison or crime. So they go to prison, they learn from the hardcore, right? It's an advanced training of prison of the petty crime theft. Then they come out, become the runner of the hardcore some more. So they have network effect. So I said, well, why do you do that? I said, why don't you think differently? Think across the industry. Bring all your petty crime prisoners, put them in the military camp along with the reform officer. I said, research study that if you want to reform petty crime prisoner, you bring them to a different environment, give them a life and a hope of a chance of a second life. So how you do it is how you do it. So we brought them out, immediately they just live in the army barracks, that's all, because they're petty crime. But we give them skill. We ask them to plant high crop yield, like chili, sarawak papaya, bread, arowana, fish. Then we sold this produce and pay their family a salary. So when their family got the salary from them, they allow their family to come and visit them as often as they like, because it's outside prison. So these people suddenly realize that I have self-esteem now, I have usefulness now, I contribute to my family, I am the breadwinner now. Do you want to go and do crime anymore? They don't want. So they get their self-esteem back. Well, after they come out from prisoner, they feel good, we find job for them. So far we have put through the system of 12,000 of them. In a normal situation of this, you go to any country, the recidivism rate, recidivism means revolving door. Let's say if I say you commit a crime, I throw you in prison, the chances of you coming out after that you commit the same crime or even advanced training by the inmate, you go back, you know how is it? Globally, the rate is about 33 to 65%. Globally. The recidivism rate of this program is 0.04%. 12,000 of them went through. So all the country actually came to visit this. But this is a little known story about Malaysia. Today, Malaysia are known for many other things for the wrong reason. But this is the right reason. So they came to us. So this is one example how we actually use Blue Ocean's thinking process, tools and methodology, systematically come up with idea. There is high impact, low cost, and rapid execution. So this is what we do. I will go through this. Okay. See? This is what they do. We save billions of dollars, some more to prison. So this is what we did in Malaysia. Now, I give you this example because I want to explain to you Blue Ocean strategy or methodology can be applicable to individual businesses, national level, industry level. And it is so easy to do it because it comes with methodology. A lot of theory is theory. But how do you make the theory work for you? That's the challenge. Whereas Blue Ocean's methodology, we created the methodologies, tools and framework, 5-step process. Okay? Mine talk about it. Mine talk about this boot camp. Boot camp. Okay. Boot camp you the 5-step process. So that is how it is. So you can actually learn again. Another is creativity that you can be replicated. Okay, now I want to explain to you something, okay, that this place is called Value Innovation Program Center. It's in Samsung in the early days, okay. Samsung became so good basically because of this center they created in Samsung. Samsung in the early days, the president of Samsung brought all his division president to they went around the world to look at all their products displayed in the shop. Their product is all dusty, wrapped, because too long nobody buy already, so they wrap them in cellophane, so to prevent the dust from settling on their product, and put it at the corner there. No. So they went out on the world and said, oh my God, what is this, man? So they came back, they said they wanted to change. So they actually contacted us. So we wanted to change, so we went in, we set up a Value Innovation Center for them, okay? This is somebody report, not me, somebody else's report from Saudi German hospital. Right? They said since the VPIP was created, Samsung sales grew from 60 billion to 260 billion. That was only in 2013. And today, you go and visit, the center becomes so nice. Now, of course, today I shared with you the difference between market creating and market competing. Both are equally important. In businesses, you always have to have business that you need to compete. And you always mustn't forget that competing is one thing. Competing within a declining, shrinking market is dangerous. And even though it's not shrinking, yet it may be disrupted. It may be growing leaps and bounds, but it may be disrupted by a disruption, and that leaps and bounds go to nothing. So all these things, you just have to be aware. Whereas you can also create the market. But when you create the market, you need courage, you need vision, you don't benchmark, you don't go for a niche. You go for a creation of value. Value that is utility that you can present to people that they feel so it is greater than any price they pay. If you can create a utility they feel that is 1 million, you can charge them $990,000. Okay? They will still buy. Even your cost is $1. That's what Apple is. They understand this ratio concept. And once you created that, the market is for you to own. Because Blue Ocean is not a marketing strategy. It's a total business transformation that gives the whole experience, not just the product itself, but the experience of using the product before, during, and after. Now, you would like to, of course, you can look for mine, okay? She will put you to the boot camp, wear your helmet, wear your first aid, go through things. I don't know how she will go through that with you, military training or what. This is also the academy that licensed mine. It's called Blue Ocean Academy. Blue Ocean Academy, like I said in the very beginning, owned by the two professors. My team and I are the team, that project team. We spent about last 3.5 years actually productize everything about the two professor concept into a commercializable training, consulting services, and we actually had it for individual, company, and government everywhere in the world. So that's where we are, and I hope that you have a good understanding. I now stop here, right? I have to stop now. Mine is the end. Any question you can ask me, but mine said don't ask questions.
Please.
Please. Any question? Any clarification? Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, Marriott, they own right now is more than 1,000 properties.
Yeah.
And those are real properties.
Yeah.
But Airbnb is on the software, on the technology involved.
Yeah.
So let's say if something go wrong,
Yeah.
and the system can be cracked.
Yeah.
But in terms of Marriott, they have so many real properties. So if you compare the value
Yeah.
between two companies?
Yeah.
Is it comparable?
Okay, first and foremost, you are right, but I also want to tell you that in the hotel business, there are three components, three parties. Property owner, okay, property owner, and then on top of that you have a hotel operator. Then you also have another party that's the developer. Right? So Marriott may not have owned all the property on their own. Okay? Some, but some not some.
Yes.
Okay. So Marriott, to say that Marriott have all the property, also not correct. But then the next question I ask you: if you are a businessman, you are my CEO. I cannot gauge your performance just by preserving asset on the balance sheet. I want to gauge you how you turn the asset in the balance sheet into profit. So to say that you have no asset on the balance sheet, therefore you are stronger, actually is a misnomer. Actually, in fact, a lot of companies that I used to do that when I was younger, it was very bad. That's why I have to pay for my seat. I used to rate company who has a lot of things on the balance sheet, but didn't know how to generate profit from balance sheet. I would go in, I would buy them, I would restructure them, I would generate tremendous amount of profit. Now, having said that, when you compare Airbnb and Marriott, I put it to you as a matter of valuations comparison, because at the end of the day, both of them present the same utility to the traveler, right? So the comparison to say that if I were a traveler, okay, I have choices of choosing my accommodation through Airbnb. I have a choices of choosing my accommodation through Marriott's hotel. Okay? Those people who choose Airbnb are likely to choose Marriott. Those who choose Marriott one are more likely to choose Airbnb. That's how it is to be a statistic. Now, when you look at this, then we say that, okay, you then compare these two value propositions. What is their valuation of these two value propositions? And that chart was for that purposes. That is all about. When you have two value propositions coming from different worlds, catering for the same utility, one has got a big, huge operation of asset. One has got no asset, but they create the same utility. That's a comparison. I want to touch on this. This is a very important point. Those of you who have seen Hyatt Hotel, Hyatt Hotel have realized something. Hyatt Hotel these days are very smart now. Hotel industry used to have grandeur. So that how do they build? They buy a very big piece of land in the beachfront or in the center, city center. They need to have very big piece of land because of catering for the entrance. When you enter the hotel, you must see the chandelier. One not enough, maybe 5 or 6 chandelier. You need a big hall, tall ceiling. Then you walk in, you feel grand, right? And then you have a big hall. Then because of the footage is very big, you cannot build the hotel too high up. Because if you build the hotel too high up using all the property, then you have problem in operation. That's called the optimal size. Right? So you need to have an optimal occupancy rate. So you cannot build a hotel too high. So you don't have a hotel, you have no view. So you have big footprint, expensive. So Hyatt say never mind. Now I only buy hotel, I buy 1 acre of land. Only 1 acre of land. 1 acre. This 1 acre of land I built very, very high up, very tall. My lobby is up in the top floor. So when you go up to the lobby, although it's small is better. Because when you go up you can come on the lift, like say you go to Kuala Lumpur, Grand Hyatt, you go to Beijing, Park Hyatt, you come up on the lift and say, wow! Because the 1 acre of land you can see panoramic, you can see the whole parameters of the 4 walls of the hotel. And you have free scenery presented by the government of the city. Right? So the wildness is there. Yet because the density is small, density is high because the footprint is small, you can give the guest view, good view. Yet you can maintain optimal occupancy. Okay, now enough said. I'm not today, I'm not consulting, I'm just sharing. I should stop now.
Is there
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Huh?
I just wanted to find out from you about Blue Ocean strategy. versus competitive advantage.
Okay.
I know it's different, but also got a little bit of similarity and overlapping. So what is your view?
Competitive advantage is an manipulator. Competitive advantage. Is this my ready? Competitive advantage actually is a concept to say that if you want to compete, you need to have advantages. So your advantages must come from a core competence. So in other words, if I want to compete, I need to understand what's my competitive advantage. My advantage must come from a core. If I don't have advantage, I don't compete. That's where the Michael Porter 5 forces came about. When Michael Porter forces came about, the structure said, before you enter the market, you see that whether you have advantage or not. You look at the power, relative power between supplier, competitors, and all the forces inside there, and the dynamic of the marketplace. If you think that you don't have the advantage, you won't even enter the market, right? So, in other words, that's the irony about market competing. Market competing, you let the structure of the market shape your strategy. So you find that, well, it's not worthwhile to go in because you don't have the competitive advantage, so you don't go in. So that, or you go in, you don't have the size, so you play niche. So, or you don't have the ability to create value, you play cheap, low cost. That's what I mean that this competitive advantage comes from the concept of core competence and comes from the concept of structure shaping strategy. And you arrive at the end of the day, 3 options. That's about it. Nothing wrong with it. It's very good, it's very systematic. But the question is that it doesn't lead you to create market that you would like to create, you could have created. Yes, sir.
Yeah, the concept is very appealing and sexy, and you presented several examples how disruptors identify and create new value propositions.
Yeah.
So my question here is, how many of the disruptors that you presented really use this blueprint or methodology to create new value proposition, or well, more or less ex post, conceptualization of what has happened?
Very good question. In the first book, Blue Ocean Strategy, about 2/3 of the example was exposed. That means to say the 2 professors analyzed what happened, and these people created Blue Ocean Strategy without knowing it consciously. And 30% is ex ante. That means they actually use the tools and framework methodologies to go and create it. Okay? So when the first book came about in 2005, that was it. So after the first book came about, we actually set up institute in France. We set up institute in Malaysia. We set up Blue Ocean Global Network. We set up academy. We actually went. Everything I do now is ex ante. Everything I do. And the second book is all ex ante. A book is all we did. So you read the second book, the narrative. You say that, oh, we did this, we did that, we did this, we did that. Today, my team of 20 of us, we hardly have a time where it can be in one city more than 2 weeks in the world. I just came back from US doing Fujifilm. Before that, it was in New York. Before the week, I was in San Diego, PayPal. Then I went to China, Hong Kong to do the food and beverage company that I explained to you just now. Okay, I'm here, Vietnam, sharing with you. After that, I have to go to Brazil. So we are doing every single week. There's 20 of us are doing actual cases. Now in Malaysia, we actually done the boot camp training for 200,000+ people already. And in Malaysia, the Blue Ocean is very, very popular. You go there, everybody is Blue Ocean here, Blue Ocean there. Actually, it's blue or not, may not be because they like to use the terminology. But the answer to your question is yes. This thing is not a theory. When I started, I said that I retired from my Okay, I was a CEO before I stopped, and I became academic. I run the university. I also stopped. I gave up. Okay. Today I do nothing but I train people how to apply Blue Ocean. I do it for the two professors. A team of us, we call the project team. Okay? The project team actually, we come from different nationality. We go around the world to do this. Some of the places we can't, we rely on people like mine to run the boot camp. Okay? The boot camp will give you some hands-on experience about the tools and the framework first. But at the end of the day, after that, if you really want to come up with some Blue Ocean, okay, you need to spend a little bit more time. Or if you have a big project, you may have to ask mine, to ask one of us to come and help you. That's what we do on a daily basis. Yes, sir.
I'm a corporate trainer and work with many clients. My friend here is from a Swiss technology company. I had a meeting with her boss this morning, and we talked about a problem that is across all industries. It's the staff turnover.
Okay.
People come and go, come and go.
Okay.
The turnover is getting higher and higher. We don't know how to hold on and bring the passion and motivation. Do you think this concept can
Absolutely. Inside the Blue Ocean, there are two tools. Number one is 3 tiers of non-customer. Second is BACBAMS, the bio-utility map. The bio-utility map actually bring you through, force you to be in the supply market. Go through the process of you being a staff and understand where the pain points that your employers give them. Solve and remove that pain point first. When you remove that pain point, not only you can retain the staff, you can turn them into self-directed, motivated contributor to your organization. That's called the pain point. The second is 3 tiers of non-customer. Where do we talk about staff? 3 tiers of non-customer. Tier 1 say that your existing staff supply who are so fed up of being in the hospitality industry but no other job yet. Given any other job, they'll jump the industry. Tier 2 of non-customer are people who refuse to enter F&B industry to become a staff. Tier 3 is people who never explored F&B before. If you go to these 3 tiers of non-customer, you suddenly realize that you should not be hiring your competitor staff. Hiring your competitor staff is a merry-go-round, musical chair. That's where you train them to become more, what I call, frustrated with you and with the industry. Okay, having enough said, they are tools. You can do that.
Thank you.
Any questions? If no question, I actually thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much.